So I've been sitting here for about 45 minutes trying to figure out what would be best for this video. And I wanted to make sure that before I even filmed it, that I had permission from my friend's family to be able to make it. Over the weekend, we lost a brother. I'm going to try and not cry through this video because I know that that would be the last thing that he would want. A long time ago, I went through one of the most horrible periods of time in my life. I didn't have any friends. I didn't feel like I had any family. And I didn't feel like I had any purpose. Somewhere along the line, I remember I met my friend Kyle, and he reached out to me and saw how much pain I was going through. I was 19 at the time, and I had just barely lost my first child. During this period of time, no one reached out, no one was there. And I'm sure they just didn't know what to do. And so their silence was them just trusting that I would be able to make it through. Kyle was the kind of a person that always saw through people. And I suppose it was because he was made of glass himself. He experienced a lot of pain and a lot of loss very early in his life. And he never got a chance to be able to reconcile that until his last days. I remember I was so relieved to finally meet someone that had as much anger as me. And he helped me understand how that was not a negative thing. That I deserved to feel that anger. And I deserved to heal. Oh my God. Kyle had this attitude of attracting people to him that never knew that they could fit in. They would congregate to him as if he was some kind of a messiah. In a time where I felt like everyone had given up on me, he stood firm, and his integrity did not bend. Every single time that I ever met anyone walking into his life that was new or old, he would always accept them. Kyle was not a religious person at this time, and that was somehow just a skill trait of his. It seems like in life, the people that are the best usually go the first. He was there for me every single day for 3 years, and we remained in touch until the day of his passing. There were cheers at his funeral. I remember he played Frank Sinatra at his passing. There was nothing that was ever going to stop him from making his own choices. Free will and autonomy were second nature for him. And it was the lead of part of his struggle in life, as well as a major gift to all those around him. Here stood this person that could barely walk without limping, and he somehow would never bend. When you were the first to fall, he was always the first to reach out his hand, because he understood that money doesn't matter, and none of it matters without friends. Kyle would talk to me about everyone, even still 10 years later, even after he was judged and had let himself down in many ways. And he always did it with kindness on his heart, belief in people in his mind. Kyle wanted people to cheer at his funeral, and they did. At the time of his passing, there were a lot of things on my mind, and the major thing that I feel he would want us all to remember is that he went out on his own terms. Very few people in this world really get the chance to be able to do that. Before modern medicine, people used to have a moment to be able to say goodbye. Not many people get that gift. Kyle decided one day, and I could hear it in his breath the last time I spoke to him, that he wasn't going to do this anymore. He had been in the hospital for up to 5 years at this point, and he had multiple open heart surgeries. And he knew he wasn't going to die. But he also knew that he was sick of being in that hospital. He was such a free spirit that I don't think he did it for anyone but other people. He wanted to give them a chance. And he devoted the last years of his life to that. The last time that I saw him, he was so happy. Like his mind was finally made up. And he was at peace. There are no levels of words that I can use to explain how selfless he was. And so I'm not even going to try because people know. He chose to say goodbye and to let people know that he wanted this. So over the weekend, he decided to take himself off of life support. Because it was the last thing that he could do to make sure that he still protected the ones around him in whatever shape and way that he possibly could. I think on some levels he was just so sick of the pain, so sick of being trapped. Kyle White introduced me to Assassin's Creed. He was my mentor and my brother in so many different ways. It seems like people's lot in life is usually to live out the ways that we remember people so that they're still here with us. I am reminded of the words that his father spoke at his funeral. His uncle, dad, whatever the hell you want to call it. He stated that Kyle's message was love. He never preached it. He never sought out recognition. He just lived it. It is every one of our responsibility to make sure that we live more with the light that he gave to this world. And that we keep that candle burning. That we forgive when we are not receiving forgiveness. That we show kindness when everyone thinks that all we are angry and horrible. And that we look out for people when we see that they have fallen down. Kyle was not a devout Assassin's Creed player. His favorite was Brotherhood. That or AC2. He was an old school fan. Above all else, though, he was absolutely a Zelda fan. He could give a shit less about Assassin's Creed. But he was my mentor. I am eternally in debt to his mother for bringing him into my life. To his father for all the time that he put in when his birth father passed. And all the guidance. He used to talk to me about you a lot. He loved you so much. You were all so irreplaceable for him. I love you, Kyle. Thank you for everything.
When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. Many decades would pass before I understood the meaning of all three. And now, in the twilight of my life, this understanding has passed into contentment. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen. Love, liberty, and time, once so disposable, are the fuels that drive me forward. And love, most especially, mio caro, for you, our children, our brothers and sisters, and for the vast and wonderful world that gave us life and keeps us guessing. Endless affection.